And it's loading. Okay, and we are live. Hello, guys. Welcome to the Brown Girl Book Club. Woo! Last show of the year. I'm actually stoked. I feel like I'm very proud of myself for starting in January and going all the way through to December with this club. Oh my God. But Cassidy is joining me today. I never know which way to point because it's not the right way. But thank you for joining me, Cassidy.
Of course. I'm so excited.
Yes. And the book for this month, I have it on my phone. I don't have a physical copy. Is The Girl with the Hazel Eyes? If I could speak English for a second. So let us know in the comments if you ended up reading it. And I don't know what you rated it, if you finished it, or if you just started. If you're considering reading it for the first time. Let us know. Let us know. Also, let me know what beverage you're drinking. I'm very curious. I just heated up some coffee, even though it's like 4 p.m. What do you have in Cassidy?
Okay, I had coffee as well, but then I realized I hadn't eaten, so I'm drinking water now. So to settle.
You have to keep. You always have both.
Yes. So I'm drinking the water now.
Yeah, it's like when you've had 4 cups of coffee and not a lot of water. You're like, this was a mistake.
Yes.
I need to fix myself. Mm-hmm. Oh, Erin's here. Hi, Erin. Oh, let me text the Discord too. Send them out the link. I never do this right. I feel like I'm always so unprepared. I always have to send out the link the last minute. I'm like,
I'm like, oh, hey, I'm live.
I'm live, right? Let's see how to copy and paste this.
Index and on Twitter.
Because I posted it yesterday. Copy. Okay. Posted. Oh, and just in case you don't know, we do have a Discord now for the Brown Girl Book Club chat. We talk about a lot of other things besides reading. So it's just a fun chat of friends. If you guys want to join, I think I linked it in the description if you're interested in just, joining us, talking about books and being nerdy on the occasion. It's a fun time. I attempted to have a buddy read with Erin, and Erin knows it crumbled because it was just so hard. Have you ever been in a book a buddy read, and you're just trying really hard to read the pages every day, and you're like, wow, life really got in the way?
Literally every buddy read I've ever tried to do has failed. Every single one. I have not ever had a successful buddy read.
Oh my God, that's really funny. I think I've had one successful buddy read with Bow Ties and Books with Jesse. And I think it's because they were on top of it, and I felt inclined to be on top of things. Everyone else, when I have buddy reads, it's like me and Alana, we're like, hey, I'm not in the mood to read. And she's like, yeah, me neither. And we just okay, give it up. Tap out.
It's fun to talk about in theory, but as soon as it happens, you're like, I don't want to do this.
Agreed. It's I think it's my mood reader. Are you a mood reader too?
Yes, hella.
Okay, good. Because I think that's why. It's literally I'm like, should I be reading right now? Yes, but Netflix is calling my name.
Right, and it's unless you're in the mood to it, if you you can't plan if you're a mood reader. So if you try to do something, if you try to make yourself read then all of a sudden my brain's like, yeah, girl, no, you don't want to do that. And I'm like, but I do. But no, you don't.
Logically, I want to have bookish friends and read the books they're reading and be totally engaged, but it's nah, next week, nah. You'll read that book in a year. You'll catch up eventually, but give yourself time.
That's why I feel if I'm gonna have a buddy read, it could only be if I was already reading the book and someone happened to be reading at the same time.
Yes. That would be perfect. I'm reading it, great. Otherwise, I'm literally with all my Brown Girl Book Club picks, I'm the night before, I'm okay, I gotta finish the last 100 pages because my mood reader self doesn't want to finish the book I'm supposed to be reading.
God. That's so me.
Oh yeah, God, mood reader struggles. I don't know how people actually read books linear. I read a book until it's finished and then read the next book and can plan the TBRs. I'm so impressed by those people.
Same. That is witchy behavior.
It is. Like, do you have magical powers that you haven't been telling us? I want them. Oh, and then remember to comment if you finish the book. I don't know which side the comments are on. Oh, if you finish the book, if you're planning on reading the book, the girl with the hazel eyes. Yeah. So, Cassie, tell me, what did you rate this book? And did you enjoy it? Give me some general thoughts. What are you thinking? We're not doing spoilers just yet.
I did really enjoy it. So my rating is between like a 3.5 and a 4.
Okay, same. Okay, why?
Because I really enjoyed the contents of this book. I really like what happens. But for me, it felt like the outside story, like with Leah. I just felt like we missed a lot of her external life, and we just got so much of Susan's life, and I was just missing that dual of it, and that's something I just really was wanting from this story that we didn't get, and that's what I was just even by the end I thought it would like circle
catch
back
up.
right. I thought it would catch up and it didn't. Yeah.
Also, I'm very proud of you, Erin, for finishing it this morning. Good job, sis. I also am struggling between a 3.5 and a 4. I think I'm gonna lean more towards 3.5 because we were talking about this. It's like the point of which, why are we getting a dual perspective? Question mark. And then in the end, you kind of realize why. But then I'm like, okay, but now I don't know who you are. I've been getting your perspective, and it's like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool. But it's like, I don't know your life. We got to hear about her like ex-boyfriend and things like that. And I was just like, I had no feelings towards her. And especially towards the beginning, I actually didn't like her, period. Like she was always saying that Susan was mean and stuff. And I'm like, well, she's like an older woman. Like I wouldn't expect to walk into her house and ask intimate questions and for her to be nice. Like, especially as someone who's exiled from their own country for being mean. I was like, no, I expect her to be hella salty and stuff. So it was just very interesting that I just didn't like her from the beginning. And I was just like, throughout the story, I was like, I'm waiting to like her. But I really loved all of Susan's perspectives, like, especially like her younger self. It was so engaging and so perfect. So that's why I'm like, this is a solid book. But I'm like, kind of wanted to know more about Cordelia, but at the same time, didn't. I was over her a little bit.
I felt, okay, so I read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo earlier this year, and so I felt like it tried to do those things. Like it had this kind of thing, like, I'm gonna tell you my life story. And I feel like this book didn't need to go in that direction. I feel like this book could have just been Susan. I didn't think it needed that dual perspective at all. Because we get much of anything from Leah, so it was like, well, we really didn't need this, because like you were saying, like Leah ended, she was the same person from the beginning to the end. There was no really change because we didn't really know who she was at all, and so she didn't need to be here at all. She was just more like a what is not even a plot device, like a what is the word? I forget.
I felt like it was more like a plot device throughout the whole thing. I don't know if anyone else felt this way, but I could clearly see I felt that Evelyn Hugo vibe, and I could clearly see the plot point. I was like, oh, that's going to be your relative. So I caught it on like pretty early on. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So then the whole point, I was like, the whole point of the book, I was really reading because of the political, like I wanted to understand why everyone hated Susan. And that was the most gripping part about this book. So I'm like so happy that was a part of it. And it was just so enticing. But then we kept going to these chapters and it's like, oh, I don't have the internet. And I can't stalk my ex-boyfriend now.
I was like, it didn't ever circle back. And I was like, okay, why did I need to know all that?
It was like, why are you even sad? It's like, you're good, sis. You're fine.
Her purpose was for shock value at the end. And I was like, but we expected it because of, I don't know. I guess I expected it because of Evelyn Hugo and the way that story went. So I was like, well, something's there's a reason for this relationship that this person just randomly got picked out of anyone. So I was like, it just gave me very much Evelyn Hugo vibes that it was just gonna be some sort of shock value, the reason that she's there. And it did prove to be that. And so that's why I was a bit frustrated with the dual perspective, because I was like, the story was so engaging just as Susan that I was like, you kind of lost me at the other half.
Exactly. And it's like, and you can also kind of tell too, because her chapters were shorter by a lot, because there wasn't too much happening. And I personally haven't read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, even though I know that's Cuban rep and I'm Cuban. I probably should read it. But everyone always, it's like I feel like I know this story. Like it's very similar to this story. Looking at it face, it's like, why would she pick this random person to be the journalist? It's like, you know why. The whole, you know why. And I'm sure there's like probably more plot points, but it's like the main scope of the story is kind of predictable in a sense. What I liked about this one is like I didn't even realize going into it the politics that were going to happen. That is probably my favorite part about, and it's so funny because I am a big fantasy person, even though I like contemporary a lot, but this like really edged on my fantasy side of like politics and being like there was so much happening with how do you say his name? Kenneth? Is that Kenneth?
I think Kenneth.
Kenneth? Yeah. Everything that was happening with Kenneth, I was such a Kenneth fan. And like her mom and all those elements were just so rich that I like that side was so empowering.
It was just like so juicy, and I was like, oh my gosh, there was so much going on in this world. I was like, this is so exciting. Like at the beginning, it took a bit for me to get into, but then at one moment, Susan's life started to really take off, and that's what really drove this narrative. There was just so much. It was so complex, and everyone's emotions, and I really just liked how much you learn about these people's behaviors, but they don't really express it. Like they're all very sheltered of their own emotions, but you learn so much about all of these characters. That was just so great. I really liked about that.
Yeah, I really liked it too. Yeah. Oh, people are sharing what books they're reading. Fun. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. That the first like 50 pages where we're getting her childhood story, I was like, okay, Susan, okay, cool. What's happening? What's going on? What's next? When she hit that like 18, after her 18th, like I don't know if we got her birthday, but when she turned 18 and became like a full adult, I was like, this story is like everything I wanted.
Same. And that's I was like, there would be moments like we like in like the present time with Leah, we would still be learning so much about Susan in the present time. Like I was like trying to like think, and I was like, what's missing with Leah? And then I was like, maybe it's because it's not like the first person perspective as when we get through like as we get with Susan's past. But then I realized I was like, no, because I'm still getting so much of Susan even in this like present life, and that was something that I thought was just so interesting. And that's also something that really frustrated me because I was like, this is Susan's story. I don't know why Leah's even in this.
Exactly. This is Susan's story. Leah, back up. And then, hello, everybody who has joined us. Thank you for joining us. Let us know if you've read the book or not. Let us know. And what your rating is. I'm also interested to hear your rating or if you're planning on finishing it or not. I was just, yeah, I agree. It's Susan's story. She had all the power, all the dominance. It's like dictating when you're going to find out this secret. And like, even when Leah was like hinting at like, oh, this is a weird part of your story, Susan's like, hold up, you're going to hear about it like 2 chapters from now. Just like that exact, like, I know, give me 2 weeks and I'll tell you the story.
Oh, I forgot I was going to say, but I was like, agreed.
Agreed.
But
I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you got an opportunity like Susan or Leah too, because they both had those same opportunities, would you leave this country to go write a book? Is that a thing? Would you do that? Would you risk your like drop your job, drop everything, go out and go publish a book?
Hell no.
I
am too like, what is the word? Like I am driven by logic. So I have to think 20 million steps ahead. I cannot go into anything blind without thinking of the consequences. So there's nothing in this life, like, if I knew that it would possibly take me away from my family,
Mm.
there's nothing that would be a win for me to have success in isolation. Like, that just sounds so terrible. And that's really like what happened to her. And it was like,
Yeah.
who would want that?
Okay, I want to talk about that though, because is it her fault that everyone lost their job, or is it Wilson? Wilslow? How do you say it? The dude, the guy who she was with or whatever.
Winslow?
Wilson? Wilslow?
Winslow?
Winslow? I'm really bad with
Winslow?
names. I was reading Wilson the whole time. I'm that person who renames people when I don't like their name. But it's his fault. It's his fault. So I don't know why everyone's blaming Susan. I'm that person. If I was given the opportunity, I would drop everything and go. But that's probably like the actor in me that I'm like, yes, I'm striving for success at every moment of every day. So I'm like, yes, I'll take that book offer, please. And let us know in the comments below. Would you risk and drop everything for your dream job right now if you knew it would cause you to be isolated in a new country? I'm really interested to know if people would do it. Cassidy wouldn't. I would.
Even if I had like no negative benefits. I mean, like if I wasn't like rejected by my family or people or whatever. It just sounds so fun being in a country I don't know by myself.
But what if it was like Paris? What if it was like, come to Paris, come live in France, and write a book of your dreams, and we're gonna publish it and give you all the money? No?
Terrible.
Terrible?
I am from the South, and my family is very close knit. Like, there's never a time we're apart. Like, every birthday, my whole extended family is always together. Every celebration, every party, and to be without that is miserable. And like with COVID now, I haven't seen them this entire year, and it's been the worst thing in the world. Like, being across the country without them sounds terrible. There's just not anything that sounds enticing about leaving that. But I think that's just,
You're such a sweet person. I'm over here like, Mom and Dad, I'll call you in a year. We'll see you later. But they know that's me. But yeah, that's so sweet. Oh my God.
I have separation anxiety.
And thanks to everyone who has joined. Thank you, thank you. Hello, hello. Oh my God, if I could end up having a lifelong wealth and flee with my husband, I would. You know, reasons Susan things to True. What? You can visit, especially Canada.
Canada.
You're so close.
I thought the same thing. I was like, your family's not even in Barbados. I was like, you could definitely.
Hi, Monty.
Hey, Monty. I was like, she definitely could have gone see her brothers, but I don't know, the way it seemed like they didn't want to see her, I guess, or
no, it felt like that. But her dad. Well, I don't want to spoil too much right now, but I feel like she wasn't as isolated as she needed to be. Like, she kind of grew up in that Miami, like, I'm not leaving this old retirement community ever. Everyone hates me. And it's like, if you stood up for yourself, no one would hate you for what? That's my opinion.
Was there ever a moment she ever stood up for herself? And that's what also really frustrated me. Like, there was never a time like she spoke out, and I would just get so frustrated with her as a character.
Yeah, but like, I feel like the book, Susan getting the chance to publish this book, going to New York, revealing all the secrets that this political party did, was her kind of speaking up, because she took so much crap this whole book from her dad. Like, the only person who backed her up was her mom, and her mom really kind of left her, and she had her thing going on, so she couldn't support her. But like, Kenneth kind of left, and then all her relationships fell through. So it's like, I could see why she emotionally was distraught, especially I think she was 18 when all of this was happening. So to get fame and stuff and then get rejected, and thinking that this book would like solve everyone's problems and be like, these shady bitches deserve to go to prison. And then, you get the brunt of the pain and whatnot.
That's why I wanted more of like retrospection of like that moment with her and what was his name? Ignatius, whatever the hell his name was. The man who offered her the book, the chance for the book deal, that little
I didn't even remember his name. Oh no, yes, okay, the dude who was also crooked. I remember it. Crims?
What?
Wasn't it Crims?
Crims?
Or crimes? Was it crimes?
First name was Ignatius or something. But I just wanted some more retrospection because I don't know what led her to trust this man. Because it was kind of a jump, and it was like all of a sudden she was on board with it. And I was like, I wanted to be there for that conversation.
Aaron's got us. I don't know why I said crims.
I was like, Crim. I don't know. I just know his first name. But I
better than me.
Her thinking process, it was kind of just like from point A to Z, and I wanted to know what was
And I feel like it's a lot to do with youth, and I think you get that from her older perspective, which is a good thing about the dual perspective, even though it felt a little like lackluster of like what's happening. We got to hear her constantly be like, oh, my younger self, I always made mistakes, and how she was very like retrospective on the actions she made, like even with her like kind of falling out relationships, like her romantic relationships, being like, oh, back in my day I made mistakes. So it's interesting. So it's like I feel like a lot of her plot line when she was 18 was just her being messy, which is also I think what was fun about it, because it's like it was sad because she shouldn't have taken all that heat as an 18-year-old woman who had a job and had power. But at the same time, it's like you're told to always be submissive. And I think that was also a really good kind of feminist tone to this book of like, women are built to endure. Like that was the message her mom gave her from youth. So she kind of took it upon herself. And it was messy as an 18-year-old young woman, which is kind of to be expected. You're like, I don't know what to do. And I would have loved to hear that 2-hour conversation that they had about whatever book deal it was. It's like, you're going to be under the bus, like thrown under the bus for everything, right? Like, I wonder if she knew that was going to happen, that everyone would blame her because she obviously got money. At the same time, everyone else is losing their jobs.
That's why I wanted to know. I was like, what was that like? I'm going to say fuck it and do it. I wanted to know, like, I could understand like everything in her life, but I just wanted to be there with her, like in that moment, like in her brain. Like I didn't want that jump. I want to be there with you.
Yep. I wanted to be there too. I feel like there was a couple jumps in like conversation where it was like there was this moment happening and then 2 weeks later. And I'm like, no, I want to know what happens within the 2 weeks. Let me know. There was so much like detail in like Susan's young adult life that is just so interesting to me that I really liked.
But there was also some details about some things we didn't need, but then would skip over things I wanted. And so I was like, I just wanted a bit of balance because I would be like, girl, I don't want to know what this house looks like. I just want to know.
Okay. I know in the Discord chat we talked about this, but I just want to alarm everyone about in the beginning of this book, if you haven't read this book, there's a moment where we talk about a chicken. Do you remember this scene? We were so like, why are we getting this detail? I had to put my phone down. I was like, what did I just read?
If I had read this on my own and not have discussed it, I would have put it down right there and not picked it back up.
Same. Especially because at the beginning, you're not getting too much plot. Oh, look, Monty's like, Monty, you need to read the beginning just to get the chicken scene. So to not be too explicit on this channel, the boys back in the day, and I think, okay, the cool thing was it's an interesting farming fact, which is like, neato, didn't know that. But at the same time, the way she made the boys sound in this book as children. So as boys, when they're farming, and the chickens are like laying their eggs, sometimes the eggs get stuck and you have to like to get the egg. And apparently the boys were very excited to do that job. And it was so.
But then when she described their first sexual experience,
and she brought it back up. I was dying. It's like, that was the last thing. I don't want to think about a chicken butt right now while I'm about to have sex for the first time. I was, rolling. Oh my God. Hello! Guys, the author is present. Yes, we love this. We stan.
That's great.
It's so great. It was, I died laughing so hard. I was like rolling. Just explaining. I can't help it. I just have a very expressive face. I hope it gives you joy.
Really, I was like, I think.
Oh wait, you froze on my end.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Is it my internet or your internet? I can't tell. I can't hear you right now. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Oh no, what's happening? Hello? Is my Wi-Fi working? Wi-Fi is connected. Cassidy is frozen. Okay, so Cassidy is frozen. Oh no. How do I help? Let me try.
Am I back
Oh,
in?
I think you're back. I can hear you.
Sorry,
You
my internet.
laughed so hard you threw off your internet.
Me.
Mm-hmm. You are still a little glitchy though, just letting you know. I think I can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Kind of. Yeah, yeah.
You can
Looks
hear.
like it. I can hear you. Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear Cassidy. Okay.
The Wi-Fi.
So the Wi-Fi couldn't handle the seriousness of our conversation.
It was tired of hearing me.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, that was a cute little moment there. Do you remember what you were saying? You're good. I can hear you.
Monty said my internet didn't want to hear about chickens anymore. That's my FBI agent didn't want to hear.
Your FBI agent silenced you. He's like, you've gone too far. Oh my gosh. But besides the chicken part, like the romances, like after she turns 18 and on, are so good and complex. And that's why her plot line, like I really enjoyed it and I really was hoping that she would smack down on some people real hard.
It was literally like as soon as she turned 18, I was just like, oh, this is getting so juicy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I was just getting stressed out and I was like, what is gonna happen? And I just found myself just like reading so fast. And I was like, I just need to know what the hell is gonna happen. And I want to talk about Lil. What's her face? Joan.
Joan.
Drove me nuts. But I thought she was such a complex and interesting character.
I really liked her character, and I thought it was very interesting that Susan was constantly like, "Oh, she's a hoe, she's a hoe." I'm like, "Girl, you got two men. Who are you talking to?" Like, because she's calling her a hoe just because she's chasing after both the men that she's chasing after.
Right.
So I was like, "Excuse me, miss, you're doing the same thing. Don't be calling out her." But I get that, like, it ended up being a combative thing. Like, I think she started it, Joan, and then like Susan was like, I'm gonna finish it and I'm gonna get them both. And I was just like, let's go.
And it was, I just like thought it was also just interesting how it was so subtle, the hints of colorism that was in the dynamic of their relationship, of how, I don't know if Joan was jealous of the attention that that Susan got being a light-skinned woman and being considered as beautiful, but Susan thought that Joan was beautiful anyway, even having dark skin. I thought there was such a very subtle little hint of the colorism that exists within this country that I think was so subtle that I thought was just so well done about their dynamic.
Yeah, I also think it was interesting to also have like so many female relationships because she had her mom, Susan's mom, like her relationship, their relationship was actually really solid. So I think it was really good to have that balance of how competitive the nature is for women on this island. It's like, okay, like this my man, I need you to back off, sis. You know, like I feel like we do that too, where it's like, we know there's only a few good ones. We know there's people who have money. I call dibs. Like,
Right.
what you doing? And it's yeah. I also like the dynamic of having multiple characters who are chasing after like or having different relationships because it's not like everybody was cruel to
Right.
Susan. If anything, Joan was the only one who was really outwardly cruel besides Winslow, who was just a whole bucket of trouble.
I could have strangled that man so many times.
I literally like like I would have taken the job. I would have taken the job working for his personal assistant. Like, let me guys know down below if you would have taken a job with some guy who you know is sketchy as hell. But it's like, hey, it's a job. It's a real job, and it's like you're going to be writing and you're going to be involved in the government. I think I would have taken that job. But I would have left 2 weeks in if he tried to make a move. I'm like, this is a job, sir. I don't know who you think you are. I don't care how pretty you think you are.
I wondered what made her interested because their first encounter was so creepy to me, but she was intrigued by it. And I was like, is it because he was handsome? Because I was like, you felt so
okay, he was handsome for sure. He was depicted as a handsome man. I like envision him in his like 30s or like early 40s. Like, I don't know how, like, you know how people like Leonardo DiCaprio for some reason? Yeah. I feel like that was him to her. She was like, oh, old but nice. And I'm just like, old but old. It's like,
old but creepy. His first words was something's like, I have some other way with you or something. I was like, oh, he gave me the willies from the beginning.
That's why you gotta trust your intuition. Just be like, nope, I don't need that. Let's see. Totally true. Like leveling up as not just being a housewife, because most girls, and I think Susan mentions that a lot of the women and her friends who didn't even get a chance to go to secondary school, because of course, like in Barbados, you had to pay for education, so most kids stopped at a certain point. So getting to even get through some of second education and that schooling, and then getting a job and not having to immediately crank out kids and work on a farm and like manage a house was such an opportunity for her. And I feel like Joan was on that hustle too. She's like, I'm not gonna be a housewife either. Well, but then they ended up being a housewife to win Sloan in a way.
She definitely, because she wanted to maintain that status, so she had to take on the role of a housewife. Like literally, she uses that word like I was a dutiful wife, but they didn't really even have a title.
No commitment. Yeah, no, and he had no commitment. And I bet you, like, it wasn't really said, but I bet you he had other women at the same time. It wasn't just them two, for sure.
They said he was sleeping around with the whole island, and I was like, yeah, man is a serial cheater. He is not like.
Apparently, people like the fact that I was like, for some reason, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's true. I don't know why people like him. Everyone's like, obsessed. I think it's that, Titanic phase that I was just not into that.
I don't know.
That just made me laugh.
I don't think I was either. Now that I think about it.
The real question, what everyone wants to know, Cassie, how do you feel about Leonardo DiCaprio?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anything of the man.
Okay, good.
I haven't watched any of his movies after the age of 20, like after he aged, like, I think
watched Wolf of Wall Street?
No, not that.
You might want to watch, because that one's great, not because he's hot or any appearance things, but the storyline.
I think I tried like 10 minutes of it, and there was so much cuss words, and I was like, no, thank you.
No cuss words? You're just like, no. Did you just cuss at me? I'm turning you off.
No, thank you.
Oh my god. I don't think there was curse words in this book. No.
In this book?
I guess not. No, right?
There was one, and it was Winslow, and he said the F word or something. He said some misogynistic something. He was like, something F word, this, that. And I was like, I hate this man.
I hate this man. Retweet. Agreed. Ugh.
We were talking about about her taking a job and if y'all would. But then didn't they mention that she wanted to be like in the newspaper and was on towards that track before her dad forced her. So what do you think about that? Like, do you think that's something that even would have happened, or because she kind of?
No, I don't think it would have happened if she had, because her initial track, for people who maybe didn't read, it's not a spoiler. It's like she wants to be a writer, obviously. So she was fortunate enough to go to secondary school because her mom paid for it and worked really hard to pay for it. And then she wanted to work for a newspaper. And her dad was in her like second to last year. He was like, go work at our office building and just be a secretary because that's good money. And she was like, oh, but I don't want to. If her mom and her really stuck it out and was like, she is lined up for a job in writing that she dreams for, or even like when they had the whole Winslow problem and then being like, I don't want you to work for him. It's like, okay, send me back to school. I'll go back to the newspaper. Like, I kind of wish she kind of introduced that idea so she could be on her path. Because I feel like after that moment of working for Winslow, her dreams of writing really ended.
Right.
It was just like, stop hard. I'm only focused on assisting you, be your melodramatic, needing shots every night to go to sleep.
And that's why I didn't understand that either. And I was like, she would just talk about her dreams with Kenneth all the time, but it was only with Kenneth. And then like she just kind of really let go of that dreams for this trash man. And I was like, what is in it for her? The good sex, because there was nothing about this man. I think that's literally what she said. I think she said
it was 70% of the reason why she stayed with him.
This man was the sex, because there was nothing else.
It's like, sis, you 18. You are gonna have so many relationships. You do not need this crusty man. I bet you he's not even doing it right. You just think he is. It's like,
man as well, misogynistic man.
Oh yeah. And then, so we also have strong opinions about the dad. How do you feel about the dad? I liked him towards the end. I respect him towards the end, but in the beginning, he was a flaming hot mess. I agree.
I feel like he was a.
Oh, and her mom was amazing. We'll talk about her mom too. Or who said that?
I feel like he was
her
like
mom being amazing.
A version of what a man in Barbados at this time was. Like he was like the epitome of that man. Winslow as well. They are the culture of men, and so it was like. So I was like, I didn't pay nothing to him. He was just really.
He didn't hurt your feelings. He hurt my feelings sometimes. I was like, damn. But I get it. That was timing. That was the typical response.
I was like, he's no different than any other man in this book, except you know, Kenneth is the only one that was not a raging piece of shit.
Apparently, the only one who wasn't a misogynist to the extent, because he still said that, like, oh, she's not smart enough to go to school. Like, she's a woman, she's gonna be a housewife. But I did like the fact, in the end, or not in the end, technically halfway through the book, he was like slightly more supportive. I think maybe that was just me. Like, he was growing. I don't know if that was the mom though. That might have been the mom's influence.
Yeah, she had said something along the lines of like, he didn't really get it all the way, but he respected her dreams, even if he didn't like agree with them or something. And so she found a solace in that he had a way of like believing in her, even if he didn't agree with them or something like that. And so I think that was like, I think she said something like that. I can't remember. Something like that.
He half approved of her decisions. It's like, I see you, but I don't agree with them. But yeah, he is definitely. Oh yeah, he is definitely a product of the time. I feel like, yeah.
That's why he didn't make too much an impression on me. I was like,
yeah,
like, he don't sound like he's any different than any other man in this book would be like. So I was like, I was frustrated with him, but I was like, it was an expected situation.
Yeah, because like reading it was from the 1960s and stuff. It still shocked me every time he'd be like, "She's my only daughter. She's gonna be a housewife." I was always shocked, and then I had to like remind myself. I'm like, that it was the product of the times, and I would still be very annoyed at him.
What did you think of like his change of heart at the end? Or you think
change of heart at the end? That's what I heard. Can you hear me? Oh, did she freeze again? She might have frozen again. Cassidy, your background's gorgeous, but you need to fix your internet. Let me know in the comments below if you can see her or hear me, so that way I don't have to get too worried. Let me know. Suddenly if she did freeze again. Oh no. Cassidy. It's okay. I guess you guys get to hear me ramble. Oh, she's loading. Oh, the spiral of death. Oh, are you back?
Yes. I have to join my phone's hotspot. Do you hear me?
I hear you. Your camera's catching up now.
Oh my God, you're still frozen for me too. I hate this.
Oh no. Oh no. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. What the heck?
Okay. So you're on your hotspot. Oh no, we are using Prime data.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Okay. They can hear you now. So I think we're in the clear. I think we're good. I totally missed what you were saying though. His transition at the end about him flipping and being supportive about the book and like her being sent off. Was that? Oh, did you freeze again? Or are you thinking? I can't tell the difference. Oh no, she froze again. Okay, well, I thought that transition was believable. I liked it that he supported her at least once. I needed something to like believe that he was a good person. I like besides the fact that he disliked Winslaw and like wanted her not to work for him. But yeah, Cassie's. Oh, she's got. Oh. Hello.
This is terrible.
No, it's okay. It wouldn't be a live stream without some complications.
Oh
Man.
my God.
It's okay. Are you still on your hotspot? What happened? What did you do?
I jumped on the neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Wait, how do you know your neighbor's Wi-Fi? How'd you get the password?
They leave it open.
I'm shocked. First of all, that they would have it open. That is the most shocking thing. Secondly, that you tested it out and was like, hey, shit, they don't get a password. Let me use it.
They must be like right next to me because it's working pretty well.
The router is just right by your wall. It's just, whoop. Oh my God. But I was talking about the shift that you mentioned. I said I liked it to see him support her at least once, that I needed that to believe in him as a person. So, and then Aaron agrees with me. Thank you for validating my feelings. Oh, and we can hear you now. Yay.
So then it was like he supported her in that moment, but then it was like their relationship kind of fell through in the rest of her life. Like I think she said,
I didn't have a relationship beyond that. Like,
right, like
put a roof over her head. That was it, and a job-ish. Yeah.
So I was like, but he is one of the only people that she talked to after that. But it was still not like, it wasn't like this come to Jesus, like we're gonna be close as we were like with
but that would have been so ingenuine or disingenuous. I realize ingenuine is not a word and I need to stop using it. Sorry, random. You as a writer probably know that very well. Me as a kid. But it was I liked that it was like that because it wouldn't have been real if everything was fixed and it was a come to Jesus moment, because it's like life isn't like that. Like he made some pretty harsh decisions in her life and it's like, okay, you support me now, thumbs up, period. Like it's like, I'm not gonna like love you unconditionally now. It's like, no, it's like, thanks for supporting me, Dad, cool, bye.
I think it sped up so much at the end, and I just wanted to know what everyone was doing, and like after like just a bit more, and I was just like, I got so many questions. It was just laid out so quickly. Like I know we got like a piece of like Kenneth at the end, but I wanted a bit more. Like we talk about this letter that she was trying to get to, and they talk about it, but I wanted just a tiny bit more.
Because it was all building to that moment. So like, of course you're like, I want it all. Because in the beginning you're like, what the F is happening to like what happened? And that whole like letter secrecy stuff had me really like I was thinking really hard about the things that it could have been at the moment, and then when it was told, it was kind of like flipped over, like, oh yeah, that was that, and I was like, no. Yeah, but I think that's sometimes how endings work. It's like they're more like abrupt and it hurts your feelings a little bit because as readers we're like, can this book be like as long as my life and just as compelling? It's like no, it has to end at some point.
I was literally like, I have so many theories throughout.
Agreed.
Yes, I wanted to read the letter. I was like, open it, bitch, open it.
Open it. Me too.
But yeah,
I also like how you were like talking about cussing earlier. You're like, "Oh, you cussing at me? Turn off." And you're like, "Read it, bitch. Read it." Oh my god. Oh, did you freeze? Oh no, okay, you're good.
oh
On
wait,
my side it froze mid dance and it was just that was perfect. I wish I could like screenshotted it.
of me?
Yeah, you were like and you froze for a second.
Oh, ew. Probably look disgusting.
Yes, we were talking about this. We wanted more of her personal life, like of how like I don't know how she grew up, how
Right.
she ended up loving reading. Like we kind of like in passing hear about it, but just like a deeper dive into it almost. Like
Like, I
yeah.
think she mentioned, like, towards the end, like, when, they talked about money or something and talked about her mother maybe gambling it away, and before I was like, "Did we even know that? Or is this the first
I
time we heard?"
know. I literally the first time hearing about it, her like having gambling issues and stuff. The book did that occasionally, where it was just like casual facts, and I'm like, am I supposed to know this? Like when it came to Susan's mom and what happened to her, reading later on, like a
Right.
chapter or two later, we're like, so we're gonna talk about what happened to her, and I liked it. It made it interesting, but then it also made me feel crazy because I was like, did we not go over what happened to her? Did I miss it?
I thought I missed it. Yes, I thought I was like, I missed. I was like, I definitely missed something. So, they know something I don't know. I don't like to be kept out the loop.
I'm a nosy person, as you could tell. I'm over here advocating for the letter to be read. I want to know all the facts.
But I did
Give
like
me the
that moment.
Carfax.
I like that moment of her being caught, like about to like go through the letter, and she's and this was just like, mm-mm. And I was like, oh, that part.
I love the passive aggressive no. I know where I leave my stuff.
I was like, oh, and she ran out of there, and I was like, that was an exciting moment, though.
That was very exciting. Like I swear, like after that point, and like when she turned 18, and the whole book after that is just like nonstop, like secret, secret, secret,
It was
secret.
so much. It was really exciting.
Mhm. Yeah. And we were talking about this earlier too, having more parallels in between the two
Yes.
characters, because it kind of felt like Leah was just, there to tell Susan's story. And we
Right.
kind of missed Leah's in a bit. And that's why like I'm teetering on a 3.5, 4 star, where it's like, I don't really in the beginning I didn't like her. In the end, do I feel like I like Susan. This book was for Susan. I like Susan. I'm like, Leah, who's that?
And I was like, I wanted like maybe some little tiny hints of things that might have linked them together for the reader.
Yeah, there was just the relationship aspect where like she had an ex-boyfriend and that she related to Susan's love life. I like connected with that, but I kind of wish I heard more. We just heard
Right.
Susan like kind of giving advice to her. And I get why retrospectively. And it was like I get that's a good point, like that she's finally trying to be active in this girl's life, but it's like I want to know what happened with her ex-boyfriend, like details. Give me the tea. I want to know.
I was also just very curious about the current state of Barbados because
True.
you learned so much about what was going on in the politics, and then you get a little thing of here and there about what it kind of is now. But then I was like, well, what the hell happened? Because I was like, well, who runs it now? What's going on? I'm like,
What's
is
going?
it?
Well, it sounds like you can go ask Google. But I want you to give it to me. No, I get that feeling. I get that feeling. I felt that way too, but then I realized like, oh, this book has really made me want to research it. And I think that's a really cool thing about this book too, is because when I was first reading it, I was like, oh, the accents are very interesting. And at first it was a little hard to get into. And then I read the author's note and she's from Barbados. So I was like, oh, okay, this makes perfect sense. It's just something I, as an American who knows nothing, has to learn. And I was like, cool. So it's just interesting that it actually piqued my interest to be like, I need to do more research. Oh my God.
I
And
know this thing.
yeah, okay, good. It's not just me. Good. I was like, I know so little. I need to fix it.
At first, I thought when I first started, I was like, "Is this a real book? Like, is Unspeakable Truth a real book?" And I was googling it. I was like, "Did this happen?" But I was looking.
I was doing the same. I'm like, is this factual? Are these real things? I was trying to figure it out too. It made me ask. So the cool part about this book, besides the fact that it's politically so interesting, it actually piques your interest in politics, which is crazy because everyone for like the last 8 years has been like, I don't want to be in politics. I don't want to. And only in the recent years are we actually trying to be active in our own
Right.
politics. But now I feel like in the future, it's like, okay, not only do we need to care about our politics, being Americans, like I know you and I are Americans, but now we have to branch out to all the other countries and being aware about how we're affecting them, how they're standing, how slavery impacted so many countries and they're still struggling to create a system to bounce back from. There's
Yes.
so much happening.
Yes. Wait, I was gonna say that. What was I going to say? What did you like? I found James' character.
True.
I found James' character interesting too. I thought he was gonna end up being the one that was crooked. Some like
same. I was waiting for. I'm like, normally the person who leads it is kind of crooked. So you're like.
So then when everything happened, I felt kind of bad for him. I was like, damn, he was just trying to do some good things, and this scandal really like ruined things for him. And I want to know what's up with him. Like, what happened to James? Poor James. Like, that kind of like left me more with that state of him because he got screwed over, like not even knowing.
Yeah, and the thing is too about him is like when. This might be a spoiler for people who haven't read it, so plug your ears. We're already like 50 minutes in, so I'm surprised it's been 50 minutes. Oh my god. So this is spoilery, but okay, because when the book was published, I'm thinking she only has dirty details on Winslow because that's the person she was literally in bed with, and like even doing deals in bed with other people. Like, so it's like, how did this affect James because of just her name being associated? Like her dad having her name being associated to James. I'm like, if you had a strategic team, like a marketing team, like I would have been like, okay, your daddy's fired. We need to disassociate from you people, and we're gonna handle our business separate from you guys. So it makes me wonder why it took down everything. Like this one book took down everybody, and I'm just like, it should have just taken down Winslow, and maybe in Ignatius too. But I guess like if he signed the book deal, like and it's mostly him, it's just mostly targeted at Winslow. So I don't know how she got all the repercussions.
Right. And like I get how like, the economy and everything was affected because of that. But I was like, why would that affect? I didn't understand how that affects James' reelection. Like I didn't know. I was like, I wanted a bit more. I was like, damn, did everyone was just like, we want nothing to do with y'all or something? Like, I want a bit more of like a little more details. Cause I was like,
true. I think it literally happened in a page where they gave us the details about, and James' party didn't end up winning the next time. I'm like,
I was like, damn, he didn't do nothing.
He didn't. I mean, he did hire a crooked dude, sure. But then it's like, okay, he went to prison. And he's facing his ramifications, whatever. And it's like James literally spent however long trying to create a solid government for his people and like create their independence and empower them with jobs and stuff. So it's amazing that they took all of his work and was like, oh, well, Winslow effed up our jobs, so we're not hiring you again. And I'm like, that doesn't seem fair, but I guess that might be politics. That might just be politics.
That's why I was so curious about the current state because I was like, he already did so much. I was like, did someone come take it over after him? Or like, well, what the hell happened after? Like, canceled and what was kept? Or did the British come back and say, y'all can't handle yourselves? I was like, this could have gone so many ways. But yeah, it was just me wanting more.
You wanted more. You're needy. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
I'm very needy. I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces too. Haven't we talked about this? Have we talked about that? Maybe not.
I don't think we have.
Okay. Well, I am too. So I feel that. I feel like that's why we're always on the same length of like, I want more.
I was like, we were kindred spirits.
Yes. And then Aaron was like, that James might support Winslow. But I feel like him going to prison kind of negates that. But that's just, I could totally see why maybe the general population believes that. But like, I'm more curious. Like Cassie said, if we want more.
Winslow was like the second hand man, the right hand man technically. So I guess
Mhm.
I can see that. I can see that.
I can totally see why the general population would totally feel that way, feel inclined. But did James fight back? We
Yeah.
need a subplot about James apparently now.
Yes, I want to know. I want to know his whole story. I said, what's going on? I was like, damn, he just really got the short end of the stick after all that
Seriously.
hard
I
work.
also want to hear more about the mom's story too. I feel like her story is super interesting. Susan's mom. I feel like literally almost every other character, like I want to know their story. And I feel like that's also the mark of like a good book is when you like are piqued about other people's lives. And I'm like, how'd you grow up? How'd you live?
Same, because there was like
Mm-hmm.
there was so much about the mom that I don't want to talk about, and I can't even remember what it was. But
Oh damn.
I liked there was like this implication that Susan started to notice those changes about her mom, but was just going through her own things that she didn't. And then there was like this implication that everyone else knew too. Like, what was the brother? What was his name? John or something like that. It was like this little thing like you didn't know something, but then he didn't really go on into details. I was like, is there stuff other people know that she don't know that I wanted to know about the mom too? I
Mm-hmm.
was just so invested.
Yeah, I think John was trying to say because she was so invested. This is what I got from that moment is that because she had been so invested in Winslow and like her affairs that she was missing out on the home environment. And John's like, you don't know what's happening at home. Like I didn't take it as like one specific thing that you don't understand, but as a general, it's like you're not at home anymore. You're missing out. You're not up to speed on what's happening.
Right. Oh, that made me so
Yeah.
sad.
It is sad, but then again, it's like it's not her fault, and so I feel like she can't really blame herself for not being there or not being so focused in her mom's life. It's like that it happens. You're 18. Like I'm like the fact that she's not married and invested in a whole other family of her own is also surprising for her to be so
Right.
independent as a woman. So it's like she already had a leg up. So it's like she's trying to do as best as she can for herself. So it's totally not her fault. So I kind of felt it, but it still did feel bad. Like as
Right.
a daughter, it would feel horrible, and I was like, I was very touched by her story, especially because the mom did so much for her and the family. So it made sense that and there's like mental illness representation in this book for people who didn't read. Like her mom faces a lot of issues, and we see like the unraveling of it, and it was very sad.
And it was like I don't know what to think about it because like that whole thing, like it was like her undoing when like she had like that dream about like the fishes and stuff. Like she's like, you gotta stop what you're doing. You gotta stop. And, like because she was right, and they say like having dreams of fish is like means pregnancy or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
she knew, and she was like, you gotta stop what you're doing. But it was like it was like her concern for her daughter, and like it was just she didn't know how to cope with that either. And it was so heartbreaking, and I loved her mom so much, and
Yeah.
she was just a really great character, and I was
She
just so
was.
excited.
I think she because the same way she knew after the whole Kenneth thing, where she looked at her and she's like, "I know what you've been doing. Come drink this tea so you don't get pregnant." So I kind of feel she felt the same way about Winslow. She knew what was happening, but at that point she didn't really have the power or like the ability to put it into words to help her daughter anymore. And maybe that's probably why she also unraveled so hard. It's like she wanted to still do so much for her family. She knew her family needed her still. So, oh, but wait, I wanted to go back to okay, this because we were talking about this, and I think and this is my personal opinion. I can see like the book caused the outpour of like everyone's losing their jobs, companies are backing out. It was the book's fault that she wrote, but it was mostly Winslow's fault because he created all these shady deals with all these companies and stuff. So I feel like it's like she opened the door, but it wasn't like she didn't cause the problem. That's what I
Agreed.
was trying to hit at earlier. But that's how I feel. So I'm like, she could take some of the blame where it's like, shit, things would have been great if Susan didn't say anything. So I could see why some people might be bad. But logically, it's like Winslow went to prison for the crimes he committed. I blame him. Also, I just hate him. So I'm like really happy he went to prison. But that's how, I don't know. I could totally see why the general public might feel a certain way about Susan. But because of like her hazel eyes and whatnot and being like, be wary of her. And it's like, okay, but she was just an educated woman who pulled the rug out of this like criminal. It's like, shouldn't we all be excited I bet I get the losing jobs can make people like more so like stuck on the fact that she did that to them. I just wanted to say that point. I don't know.
I
We talked
feel,
about that earlier.
yeah, I feel the same, and I feel like, but I think with this kind of community that they would have rathered her to keep her mouth shut, because I feel like
Yeah.
that culture of these kind of people, like to, for the better of their people, they would
Yeah. Do it safe.
try. So that's why I felt like they were like, it doesn't matter how this came about, like people are finally starting to settle. So I feel like she's trying to do the right thing, but I feel like that
Mhm.
culture to like turn a blind eye to that sort of thing. So I
Mhm.
yeah, that definitely, I agree with you. It was Winslow's fault. They were just, I was like, it's not her
As
fault.
a yeah, as a modern woman, I'm like, I can't handle these facts. And then in the 1960s, I'm like, oh God, I would have not survived, or
Oh
it
my
would
god.
have been drilled into me to be quiet and
Yeah.
submissive as they were. So I can get timely why that happened. Just retrospectively, like I'm just like, it's Winslow's fault.
Right.
I want to
Right,
blame
Aaron.
him for everything.
Don't shoot the
Hmm.
messenger.
Exactly.
Like I feel
Exactly.
like it would have came out one way or another. Like it feels like the FBI
Especially because he's
had their radar
yeah,
already.
FBI had him on the radar, and he was like not being like covert with his dealings. Clearly, she was in the
Right.
house the whole time, and who knows how many other mistresses were also in his house during all of these dealings. Like, well, it gets culturally, he expected like women to never betray him, so so he took that for granted, and I'm so happy for Susan to be like,
And I also
I don't
think
know what
that
that meant.
because he was pushing away from Ignatius, whatever the hell his name is. And so I feel
Mhm.
like he was trying to push away from that man. And I feel like if he had kept doing so, either way, that would have exploded even without Susan. So I was like, there was so many ways for this to
Mhm.
blow up anyway. So Susan was just doing the right thing, and like they just wanted to
And
play.
got money for it too. She's like, I'm gonna set myself straight for the rest of my life, and
Period.
wipe my hands with you. But I totally agree. Ignatius was totally gonna do something eventually. It just so happened that Susan's diary came in handy, and he was like, let's do it. And she was like, yeah. If not, I'm sure he would have like handed out copies of her diaries and be like, look what's happening in the party that you support. Or it would have it just I think, and that's why Ignatius did it that way. He wanted Susan to take the fall for it, so that way he didn't have to be the bad guy.
I felt that too. Oh, I just hate that man.
I just realized that saying that. I was like, oh, shocked myself.
I hope he ended up in prison. Did they say? I hope he did too.
I
Man,
don't remember.
because I feel like she would maybe she probably wouldn't have written about him, but I was like, I hope he would have, because
Because he was the shadiest from the beginning.
he
He
was
was
the
like selling property to people and then being like, oh, when you die, it's not your property anymore.
right. Oh, I hated that man too. Oh, I mean, I hated so many people.
There was plenty of people to hate in this book. Yes. And we are over the hour, but we can keep chatting. I'm curious for people who have read this book, what your favorite character is, or after hearing us talk, like, are you going to read this book? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. I think my favorite character, I think I like Keenan the best. I don't even know if I'm even saying this name right, but like, he was an interesting child, but as an adult, I was like, I was I was there for him. I
I
was like, if you
him
don't,
so much.
yes, he was endgame. He was great. I was like, you were glorious. And why is this happening to you in your life? I was like, he was honestly my favorite character from Jump. He was like the only real friend,
Right.
only dude who was like consenting for anything physical. I was like,
He was like,
this.
I almost killed a man for you, and you go treat me like this. I was like, he stood up for himself. I was like, come on, King, yes, King.
I also so love that because I was like, don't just follow her. Don't just because she has not been there for you. She's been shady. Mm-mm. Okay,
Right.
Grace Taylor. Yes, we love the mom. Yes.
Oh,
And
I'm up again.
Susan, a second. Yep, yep. Oh, can you hear
Yes.
us?
Yes. I was breaking up a bit
Cool.
there.
Hmm. So,
There's so many.
do you agree with me, or who do you think's your favorite? Who?
I like Kenneth Spellman. I love him so much. I just love him so
Okay, good.
much. Literally, it was like after that scene where she was walking home, I was like, you better marry that man. I said, you better.
I was like really hoping that she would turn at that point and be like, this guy actually supports me.
I was like, he's in love with you. Like, what do you mean? He's so in love with you. I was like, oh.
We got another comment for favorite being Susan, even though she's a mess. I completely agree. Yep.
Yes.
We love her. Her 18th, her childhood years, her young adult years, she was messy, but you know what? I appreciate her honesty because I would do the same. Or maybe not exactly the same, because I still think I would try and choke out Winslaw. But that's the modern woman in me.
Stabbed him in the throat.
Stab.
Right.
Or we could have been sneaky. In the 1960s, you just, spill some poison in his shot, him accidentally die. Like, oh, oops.
I would have been like, oh my God. Sorry, dear. Your dinner tastes funny tonight. What a shame.
What a shame. I'll leave you to your own because I know you're being moody again tonight and you don't want me home because this isn't my house. So enjoy your dinner.
The first time when Joan had opened the door and she came to the house and Joan was there, I was like, I'm going to make dinner tonight.
There's going to be something sharp in there?
It's going to be something in there. Tastes a little different. I added some paprika.
Paprika got you. I love that. Oh my God. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Do you have any other questions that you wanted to ask? I'm checking my notes. Okay, cool. Because we are over the hour, and I know it's late for you, and I'm so appreciative of you reading the book with me and enjoying this time in this live show. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. When she kept saying that she was super mean, I totally agree with this. I was like, Susan's just an old woman. She's just like, quiet down, miss, let me speak. Or it's like, don't be impatient. I'm getting to that point. Right. I completely agree with that. I was like, we are like, everything that was written about her being mean, it was just Leah saying she was mean, not actually Susan doing mean things, except for like maybe one or two things that Susan did. And I was like, oh.
And even then, it was more like bluntness rather than like what we would say mean. She was just like, trying to act a certain way and just be yourself. And I was like, she wasn't like, I was like, okay, come on, queen.
Come on, queen, tell her. Like, she's had life experience. She knows, guys. It's like, listen to her. So I totally agree with that. 100%. Okay. If there's any other questions, let us know. Voting for the next book will happen next week. Is next week Christmas? What time is it? Maybe after Christmas. Christmas is fast approaching. So we'll be voting soon. Follow the Twitter. Twitter's account is linked down below. And the Discord, if you want to join the Discord, we talk about random stuff every day. It's fun. We just chat. Sometimes I try my best to respond as quickly as possible. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the book or plan on reading it. I think I'm gonna do a four star. I think 4-star. I think I'm excited.
I'm gonna write my review first and then see how I feel at the end of writing.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Oh wait, Aaron's got all the questions. I love it. Kind of disappointed scandal reveal for short.
Right. I thought it was gonna be bigger too. I definitely felt the same exact way. I felt the same way.
Yeah, we wanted more. We agreed that we've been waiting this whole book to hear about all the political scandals, and I think it was handled in under like a page. Winslaw going to prison and stuff. I was like, and the people hating her, and then James losing. It like all happened at one moment. It was like really fast. It hit hard. Yes, I'm interested too. I know she's publishing another book soon, very soon. Very interested, and I was very enticed by this book because it was just there was so much, especially towards the tail end. Like, yes, I wanted more, but I'm also like very excited that I was excited about this. Because let's be honest, 2020, I have not been excited about many books.
Right.
Okay. I think we are going to wrap it up now because I know it's getting late for you. Thank you so much, Cassie, for joining me. I think I have her channel linked below. If not, you guys check, Google her name. I'll link her channel below. I think I didn't put that in the description box. My bad. I will fix that immediately. But thank you so much for joining me. We love you. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone else for joining. And I hope this was fun. Share it on Twitter if you had fun. And we'll see you for the next live show.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night. Bye bye.